The goal of this screencast is to help bring understanding about what counselors bring to the table as they do their work with individual clients and in group therapy sessions. Professional therapists and counselors spend their days serving clients and helping them understand their own stories with clarity and empathy for themselves and others. The day-to-day nature of their work can vary based off their demographic of clients, as well as whether or not counselors work in their own private practice or in a nonprofit or counseling agency. All counselors spend time with clients, employing different tactics of therapy based off of their education, as well as the needs of their individual clients. One-on-one therapy sessions are how counselors spend the majority of their days. Typically, each session lasts around 15 minutes, and with a full schedule, counselors have 10-minute breaks between each client. As follow-up, and a part of serving their individual clients, counselors take time in their day to write progress notes. There are a variety of different ways that counselors approach progress notes. Some take them during individual sessions, some immediately after clients leave, some at the end of the day, and others wait even till the end of the week to write notes on all of their clients. These notes can consist of content from sessions or any information about the client that the counselor needs to remember. These notes can be used to track progress over periods of time and to plan for following sessions. Additionally, all therapists are required to meet with a supervisor with whom they discuss their work and clients. This looks different for different therapists and can happen in both one-on-one settings or in group settings. Those who work within a larger counseling group or organization may not have to go outside of their organization to meet with a supervisor. However, those in private practice have to seek out supervision from outside sources. This is just one example of the difference that individuals experience when working within a greater organization of therapists versus in private practice. Additionally, counselors often spend portions of their day leading and facilitating group counseling sessions, which I will discuss more in detail later. Therapists who work in private practice also have to spend time in their days on client paperwork and financial work in ways that those who work within larger organizations often do not. A large part of the work that therapists with their own private practice do is in regards to their client intake process. Private practice therapists receive a large number of their clients through way of referral, and there are many different approaches to initial contact with potential clients. Being responsible for one's own client base can also be a challenge in the initial stages of private practice because you have to build a reputation and acquire a full load of clients. Some private practice and counseling groups require a first appointment as a form of initial assessment and contact with clients. Counseling groups have paperwork and initial calls from potential clients handled through a front office or administrative staff. However, counselors in private practice devote their individual time to such administrative tasks like scheduling, initial intake screening calls, and their finances. Another difference in private practice is that there is no built-in community, which is true of counseling nonprofits or agencies. However, as with any company, culture can be either difficult or encouraging to work within, and those within groups do devote time in their weeks, or at least each month, to staff meetings. There is also an increased level of flexibility to set your own schedule when you run a private practice. I've outlined the day-to-day tasks of a counselor and how they spend many of their hours, but in attempts to convey the soft skills and techniques employed by counselors, I will transition into the discussion of individual skills counselors bring to the table to facilitate effective individual and group counseling sessions. In order to discuss these skills and competencies brought by counselors, I'm going to use the metaphor of a counselor's role in group therapy facilitation as setting a table. Just as a table setting is not purposeful without food that will be shared on the table, so is a counselor's work only as purposeful as the clients they get to share it with. First, the plate. This represents making space for discussion and open opportunities for clients to share. Each individual who walks into group has a unique story and has different ways in which they choose to share parts of themselves with the group. As a result, no two individuals have the same needs when they walk into group therapy sessions, but the goal is to help create connection and community that will ultimately be healing. Counselors within groups hold open space for individuals to share and process in their own way. This can look like allowing silence to persist longer than individuals are comfortable with, asking questions that requires individuals to get in touch with their emotions and stories, and doing activities that prompt organic ways for clients to share what they have experienced. Typically, at least one of the counselors leading a group has an outside individual relationship with the client, which provides needed context on clients' stories and ways of thinking. Next are flowers. Just as fresh flowers bring beauty, positivity, and light to any table, so counselors must bring positivity and expectation into their group therapy sessions. In order for a group to be successful, counselors have to come in with the belief that their time is valuable. Many individuals who are in group or individual therapy sessions have experienced mental illness, trauma, or simply the hard realities that life can bring. In therapy, specifically for children, such experiences can result in behaviors that are difficult and at times frustrating or disruptive within groups. Counselors having a positive mindset and attitude in a group is key for the success of the group. The energy of the counselor sets the tone of the group, and the kids feel the need to feel that their group facilitator believes in them and the good that each individual brings to the group. Next, water, which represents empathy. Just as water is the most basic need of humans and cleansing element during a meal, empathy is perhaps the most basic and important relational tool counselors employ in their relationships with clients and model while leading groups. When undergoing any form of painful experience or mental illness, it is so easy to feel isolated and alone in your pain and situation. Group therapy provides a space in which clients are able to share their difficult experiences and be sat with in their pain, without solutions being offered. Counselors model to other group members how to do this through their listening body language, lack of pointed or aggressive questioning, and in their gentle responses, either through questions, affirmation, or beautiful silence after a client is vulnerable about their hurt. Next, the napkin. Napkin represents group norms that counselors establish within groups that clients can count on for consistency and clarity of expectation, regardless of what emotions they are walking into group with on a given day. Just as placing a napkin in your lap is a societal norm and expectation, and ultimately serves every individual when things don't go as planned at the table and things get messy, so do group norms provide clients with clarity of expectation and healthy boundaries about how groups operate in order to make them feel safe to share, regardless of if they're feeling messy. Norms can be as simple as the time and place that group starts, as well as the order of events that take place. However, they can often be much more specific. Examples of specific norms I witnessed in groups for children include each child sharing their high and low over a meal together, and every other member of the group asking that individual a question about what they have shared. Another example is that when a group member is sharing, you are not allowed to respond with sharing something about yourself until they have completely finished. Such norms allow counselors to reroute clients when they break the expectations without having to provide awkward or false discipline that feels unfair. Finally, the silverware, which represents providing tools for clients to share. Just as the silverware on a table are the tools used to eat a meal, Counselors provide individuals tools to more easily participate in group. These tools can come in the form of very specific activities used to help clients get in touch with themselves. These tools are different. The needed tools are different for each group based off of the demographic and the stories within the group. Some specific examples I witnessed in the facilitation of group therapy for children include dice with emotions on each side that they roll and then share an experience with that emotion. A calm down kit, which includes things such as putty, which allows children to help calm down and take a break if they are feeling unable to focus and disruptive within the group, and a feelings chart that helps children name what emotion they might be experiencing. Ultimately, just as each piece of a table setting brings unique purpose and value to a meal, so are each of the skills that counselors bring to the table in facilitating group therapy sessions. Additionally, no two tables are ever set exactly the same, which is also true of counselors and how they come to and facilitate group based off their own experience, life, story, and schooling. That concludes my discussion of what counselors in their work bring to the table as they attempt to bring hope and healing to individual clients through individual time together and group therapy.